Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. This is a tough one. This was Tool. I've never seen Tool. I have a lot of friends that have been telling me for a long time, I can't fucking believe you've never seen Tool. It's just been one of those things. Every time it came through town, I wasn't here. I had another show. I had a previous engagement. Just never got to see them. Tool for me is interesting. I've said it in my other reviews. I just think for some reason, it's based off of your friends. It's based off of your siblings. You just don't find certain bands. For some reason, they just kind of slip through your fingers. I don't know why. I never got into Tool. I like their sound. I know they're they're bigger hits like Sober. I always loved their sound. I thought it was awesome. But for some reason, I just never got to getting around to getting into their catalog and enjoying Tool the way that I know people do. They have a die-hard fan base. When I was in college, I remember a few doors down from me, there was this kid who listened to Tool 24/7, and I remember always hearing it and liking it, but for some reason, I never connected to it. That's cool. That's fine. It happens. So I finally got around to seeing them. Before I start, I know their fan base is so strong and so loyal, and I have a feeling they're going to be pretty upset with this review, because I have a lot to say. I'm going to try and do it quick, but it was such a different, interesting show than I've ever been a part of for two reasons. And I was thinking about it on the drive home. I feel like I need to split this show into two scores: the concert, the performance, and then the music. This channel was set up to review concerts. It wasn't set up to review music. And it's really important when it comes to a show like this, because musically he sounded incredible. And he came out, first thing he said, and he did not talk to the crowd much, almost zero throughout the show. But he came out of the gate and he said, "I am sick as a dog. I am leaking from every hole that I have." I don't know if that means diarrhea or I don't know what that meant, but it was a little odd. So he's like, "This is going to be a tough show for me." But I think he sounded incredible. Their music sounded incredible. They have such a unique, distinct sound. Some may argue, and I wouldn't completely disagree with them, that a lot of their music sounds the same. A lot of songs sound the same. I wouldn't disagree with that. But it's what they do. It's Tool. It's this. I don't know any other band. Maybe Nine Inch Nails is probably the closest, but they have their own sound too. But Tool is up there on a pedestal all by themselves. There's no one that sounds like them. So, just off of that, the music itself, for me, it's like an 8.5 out of 10, how they sounded tonight. They just sounded great and clean and this and that. Now, I went into that show. So that's how I feel about the music before I get into the negatives. And there's a lot of negatives when it came to the performance, stuff I have never seen in my life before. And I don't know how to make sense of it, to be honest with you. The two biggest things I knew before I went in, they don't play the hits. I wasn't expecting to see Sober, and I know a lot of diehards roll their eyes like Maynard probably does when you mention songs like that. But the truth is, it's a great fucking song, and it made them famous. I don't know why some artists are so against their hits. It's like I know they're overplayed and stuff like that, but honestly, a lot of your songs do sound very similar, and to me, that one stands out. So it's not like it's such a far stretch from, if you have a hard rock album, like a great example is the band Blind Melon. That song No Rain is such a cheesy fucking song that was huge for them. But if you listen to the album, it's really rich and soulful. Sober is not that far off for me from what I can hear from the rest of their stuff. But that's just me. But that's not, I didn't care. I knew going in I wasn't going to hear it. I was fine with that. The biggest things for me were two things that were just absolutely absurd to me. They had such a strong no picture and no video policy, no phone policy. You couldn't take out your phone to do a text, to send a text or to see the time. You couldn't take videos. You couldn't take pictures. Now, I get it. I get the mentality behind it. I know a lot of bands, especially as they get older, they don't want their pictures around. I think he claims that it's, put your phone in your pocket and enjoy the show, which I hear that. That makes sense. But what doesn't make sense when it comes to that is they hired extra staff. They had three. They had the ushers, They had the T-Mobile security in their gray suits, and then they had an extra police force called, I saw their jackets, it said Best Crowd Management. They had 3 teams of security with very bright flashlights, with literally they were standing and staring at the crowd like a Gestapo Nazi, looking for anybody who would turn their phone on. And they would run down and they radio to each other, and one guy would come up and one guy would come down, and they would start flashing these bright lights, and all of a sudden more security would come, and they'd try to point out people, and they were literally pulling them out of the crowd. Come here. And they would make them, I saw them, they would make people delete the videos and pictures that they took. That was so effing distracting, just from my section. And you could see the lights all over the stadium. It was too much. To me, that was so much more distracting than people just who would have just taken videos and pictures like would normally. What they had going on, I thought, was disgusting. It pissed me off. These are people who pay money. If they should be able to take pictures, they should be able to send a text. You should be able to go on Instagram during the show if you want. I don't care. That is so much more. And to see people who were fighting back with security and getting thrown out of that place, to see their band that they paid money for because they took a picture, fuck that. I'm not down for that. That's so not rock and roll to me. It's just, I don't know. I get the spirit behind it, but I completely disagree with it. So it bothered me, and like I said, everybody in the crowd was distracted. Every time someone pulled out a phone and 7 massive flashlights were flashing on the crowd, people were distracted, and I'm not okay with that. The other thing I thought that was really off-putting to me, and I've never seen anything like this in my life, Maynard basically played in the dark the whole show. There were 2 platforms in the back of the stage that were not lit. They were dark. One to the right of the drums and one to the left of the drums. He spent the whole show going platform to platform. I'm guessing it's a normal thing because the diehards didn't seem to mind it. But he played the entire show in the dark. There was no... I mean, I was fairly close. I can't imagine if you were on a top level. I mean, there was no cameras, showing him on a screen. He didn't interact with the crowd at all. He was just in the dark. I don't even know if that was him. It could have been an impersonator, a lip sync. I don't know. I just never saw anything. I thought it was like a little bit of performance art for the first couple songs to build up the showmanship of him finally coming to the front of the stage. The only time he came out of the darkness into the front of the stage was at the end of the show to wave goodbye to everybody for 30 seconds. Showmanship, that's a 0 for me. I don't care. You're a front man. You may be a brilliant musician and have a great voice and write incredible music. I mean, again, his diehards didn't seem to mind. Good for them. I paid my money as a ticket. It bothered me. Lead singer, you got to have some stage presence. And if you're a shy, quiet guy, then some of the guys in your band, but you had the bassist and the guitarist out front, and they didn't move either. So, let's say you take a band like the Chili Peppers. If Anthony Kiedis was all the way in the back in the dark, Flea would be at least owning the stage and dancing around. The whole band, the drummer was the only one that really had some life to him. And again, I'm going to say, I don't know if I said this at the beginning, I am not an expert. Tool is not my band. I know people are going to leave comments. You're unqualified to review Tool. You don't understand it. Fuck you. I don't care. I go to all types of shows, and I've seen thousands of shows, and there's some level of performance and showmanship that's required from a band and a lead singer to keep the crowd engaged. And I know I'm right because the crowd sat for 90% of the show. They were not engaged. It felt like the band was just playing their music in the dark and everybody was listening. And again, the music's great. I'm not going to deny it. So it's still a great time but don't go there expecting to see the lead singer, expecting to see them on stage putting on any sort of show. There's 0 show. And I was told this by a lot of people, they're amazing live. And there were lighting, there were lasers, there was some confetti. Maybe that stuff was impressive to people 20 years ago, but I don't know if those people have gone to any other tours. It's pretty standard stuff right now. And after stuff like the Sphere and things like that have come out, it's really not that impressive. It's pretty standard, all that stuff. So I wasn't that impressed with that either. So, it's starting to stack up from a performance art. It just... I don't know. I hate to give it a low score because I really, really think they're a great band. And I really, really think they sounded great and the music is great. But like I said, this This channel reviews concerts. I don't review albums. I don't review music. And that's what I have to separate. For the show, for the showmanship, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's weird because I would tell you to actually go to the show. The tickets were affordable. For me, I paid $120. I was in section 4. So we were lower level. I paid $120 before fee. So let's say 150, per ticket. Total all in. Not a bad price for a big band like Tool. I wouldn't tell people don't go. I would just say be prepared for what you're about to see because I've never seen anything like it, and I don't think there'll ever be a band to put on a performance like that. I know this is going to piss off people, but I'm just giving my honest opinion. If you don't like it, you can leave comments, and you can tell me I'm an idiot and I'm uneducated. I'm going to go through the set list real quick. It's a really short set list because their songs are longer. The show was about a little over 2 hours. Started at 9 and finished a little after 11. There was a 12-minute intermission. I don't know why. I've never. The only intermissions I've seen are at Frankie Valli, like for older people. I don't know why. Maybe Grateful Dead. I saw an intermission, but they put on like a 4-hour show. I don't know why there was an intermission. They started with Fear, Inoculum, Zombie, Rosetta Stone, Pneuma, Descending, Schism. I don't know how to pronounce that. Schism? I don't know. Chocolate Chip Trip, Culling Voices, Invincible, and then Stinkfish. Now, for the last song, and again, he barely engaged. He said early on when he first started to keep your phones in your fucking pocket or you're going to get... He was really like prickish, but I know that's how he... Anyway, so he told everybody at the beginning in that first rant that don't worry, I'll let you film the last song. And when he got to the last song, the way he did it, it's for Stinkfist, he did it like, okay, motherfuckers, for all you losers out there that need to film it, now you can take your phone out and now you can film it, but no flash, if you flash, I'm going to throw your ass out of here. I know that's his personality. I know the way he is, but like, dude, these are your fans, man. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting night. It's an interesting show. I would say to go see the show, I would just listen to this review. If you're a diehard fan, I think you're going to absolutely love it. The people around me looked like they were in heaven. And again, I've said it before. That's what it's all about. This show is clearly for diehards. It's not for the casual person like me. No doubt about it. I just wish I was more prepared. If I knew that he sits in the dark the whole time and I knew there was no pictures and video and I knew all that, I don't think it would bother me as much. At least I knew what I was walking into. So anyway, that's it. Leave some comments. I'm sure there'll be plenty. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, comment, and I will see you at the next show. Take care. Bye-bye.